Hi guys, here's my presentation on strategies for teaching gifted students. In this presentation, we will learn about identifying the socio-emotional needs of gifted students, high-performing and asynchronous syndrome. So to start off, I took some definitions from our lesson, and the first one is students learn new material faster than their peers. Review is unnecessary for them because they remember what they have learned from the past, and they remember what they learned in class like that one day, so they don't need extra review. They can kind of move on to the next phase after that. They have interest in one or more topics and would spend all their time focusing on the chosen topic if they were allowed to. They are able to listen and comprehend what the teacher is saying without giving eye contact. This one right here may cause problems in the classroom if the teacher is unaware of her student and knowing that he is a gifted student, because the teacher may not think the student is listening or comprehending what's going on because he's kind of doing two things at once, which is the last one. They can process more than one task at a time. So he may be doing something else but listening to the teacher, and he is comprehending what is going on, but he's just not looking at the teacher. So again, this may cause some problems, but teachers just have to be aware that this is part of being a gifted student and they are able to listen and comprehend without giving eye contact. So understanding gifted students, here the first one is self-image. They're constantly analyzing and reassessing who they are and where they fit in, and their self-esteem. You have to give them constant reassurance that they fit in. So gifted students are often treated differently than other students, and that is why their self-image, they don't necessarily look different, but they're always treated differently, so they kind of, don't know where they fit in, and they're always getting mixed messages from like society and other students, their classmates and friends, and sometimes family. For example, one of the mixed messages that they may get is society rewards athletes, rock stars, and musicians, but not those who get good academics. So to them, their self-image, they just because they're smart, and they get academic rewards, like they're never rewarded for that. Just because they're not an athlete, they're not part of the jocks, they're not part of the rock stars and stuff, they're kind of never really given praised. It's good to be smart, but not to be smart. Their gift makes them a target. So often kids in school, will make fun of someone because they're so smart, like, oh, you're a nerd, or so you think you're smart. The kids just kind of saying unnecessary and rude comments, so their self-esteem is not very high. That's why they need to be given constant reassurance that they fit in. Being a gifted student is also kind of kept as a secret sometimes. Like, people don't want uh others to know that this student is gifted, or they don't want others to know that their son's gifted. But I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, He's a smart kid, she's a smart kid. Let's embrace it, and not keep it as a secret. And that also kind of affects their self-image. Like, why do I have to keep my you know, giftedness as a secret when a jock gets to, go out and expose all his talents? It's kind of similar in that way. So some socio-emotional needs: extra perception, sensitive to small differences, and those differences make all the difference. The next one is high involvement. Dream repeatedly of treasured problems, pictures, patterns, or concerns. So this one is other children seem comfortable letting thoughts come and go. They kind of forget about things that happened after a while, but gifted students, they cannot let things go. They have to like solve the problem, they have to get the exact answers. And so that's why they kind of dream repetitively, and it's going to bug them if they don't get the right answer, or if they don't finish the problem, they can't just let it go like other students. Perfectionism, they set high standards for themselves and are often deprived of praise and may get caught in a cycle of hopelessness. So this one right here is students are often trying to be perfect, and they think because they're smart they have to be perfect, but that's not necessarily true. They're ultimately kids, and sometimes they are going to fail, but you have to like let them know like that's
You have your door closed because I'm playing the music.
okay. Sorry about that. So back to the perfectionism, it's just let them know that it's okay to fail, and they are kids, so let them be kids. Um, and then the next one was uneven integration. Gifted students are often stereotyped as exceptional across the board, and few are actually good at everything they do. So this one is, if one student is gifted in a certain subject, it does not necessarily mean he or she is gifted in the other, like, say, 3 subjects. And that's where people kind of get a misinterpretation where, well, he's gifted in math, so why can't he do English? And it doesn't always work that way. And it's rare to find cases that a student is gifted all across the board. And that the rate of that is only 5%. So what you're mostly going to see is students gifted in one area and not the others. So in the others, so they're going to need guidance and they're going to need support in the classroom. And, they may need help. And it's okay, like that's fine. But we as educators need to realize that just because they're especially gifted in one, it doesn't make them gifted in the other ones. And they are going to need help just like every other student. So asynchronous. I also got this definition from our lesson from Dr. Linda Kreger and her colleagues, where the children's minds are developing at one rate while their bodies and emotions are developing at another. The first definition here is development. The stronger the quality, the greater the potential for advanced development. And the second one is multi-levelness, the tension between what is experienced as higher versus lower in oneself. And then also we have the twice exceptional student. So this is a student who is identified and gifted yet diagnosed with a disability. So often here people think that this kid automatically has some sort of mental disability because of the way they look, or they have some sort of disability, but that's not always true because they are identified as gifted and they may still have a gift just because they're diagnosed with a disability. So that's what I've gotten from our lessons, and my conclusion is gifted students learn at faster rates than other peers and often do not need review because they can remember everything the first time they learned it. However, gifted students are often treated different because they are much more advanced than others. And also, gifted students are also treated differently just because they're gifted in one subject, that people think, they're going to be gifted and smart all the way across the board. And that doesn't always happen, and they will need help sooner or later in this subjects that, they aren't gifted in. So those are just things we have to remember and try to treat them all equally and the same.